the hidden truths, America's darkest secrets, the untold stories. Welcome to the Facts Intrigue channel. Today we embark on a journey through the shadows of America's history, uncovering secrets that challenge our understanding of the land of the free. Behind the facade of democracy and freedom lie stories that have been buried under the weight of time and silence. The Tuskegee Syphilis Study. We begin with the haunting Tuskegee Syphilis Study. For 4 decades, African American men were deceived and left untreated for syphilis, where deceit, racism, and a blatant disregard for human rights converged in a shocking manner. This time in history is a chilling example of medical exploitation and racial injustice. For 4 decades, African American men were deceived and left untreated for syphilis, a chilling example of medical exploitation and racial injustice. Initiated in 1932 by the U.S. Public Health Service in collaboration with the Tuskegee Institute, the study took place in Macon County, Alabama, a region with a high prevalence of syphilis among its predominantly African American population. What was the purpose of this secret study? The study aimed to observe the natural progression of untreated syphilis in Black males under the guise of offering free health care for bad blood, a local term used for various ailments. Witness account, a descendant's perspective. My grandfather was one of those men, recalls a descendant of a Tuskegee participant. My grandfather was recruited for what he believed was treatment for his health issues. He thought he was receiving free health care from the government. The doctors, trusted figures in white coats, never disclosed the true nature of the study or that they would withhold treatment. Only years later did we discover the truth, a betrayal that left deep scars in our family and community. How the study unfolded. Over 600 Black men were enrolled in the study, with 399 having syphilis and 201 without. These men were never informed of their diagnosis, nor were they treated for syphilis, even after penicillin became the standard and effective treatment in 1947. The ultimate deceit. Participants were given placebos, such as aspirin and mineral supplements, and were subjected to painful and unnecessary spinal taps for what they were told were special free treatments. Discovery and public outrage, uncovering the truth. The study continued for 40 years until a whistleblower, Peter Buxton, a venereal disease investigator, exposed the truth. His revelations, first reported by the Associated Press in 1972, led to public outrage and condemnation. Aftermath. Following the public outcry, the study was immediately terminated. The damage, however, was irreversible. Many men had died of syphilis, others suffered severe health complications, and the disease had been passed on to spouses, partners, and offspring. Response and legacy, legal and ethical repercussions. The outcry led to legal action, resulting in a $10 million out-of-court settlement in 1974. The U.S. government also agreed to provide free medical treatment to surviving participants and infected family members. What was the ethical impact? This scandal profoundly impacted bioethics regulations, leading to stringent laws on informed consent and the establishment of the National Commission for the Protection of Human Subjects of Biomedical and Behavioral Research. Presidential apology. In 1997, President Bill Clinton formally apologized to the survivors and their families, acknowledging the grave injustices committed under the guise of medical research. Here at Facts Intrigue, we believe the Tuskegee Syphilis Study remains a powerful reminder of the critical importance of ethical standards in medical research and the devastating consequences when these standards are disregarded. It's a story of exploitation and suffering, but also of resilience and the ongoing struggle for justice and human dignity. Now we move on to Operation Paperclip. In the aftermath of World War II, the United States embarked on a covert operation known as Operation Paperclip, a program that would reshape the landscape of scientific research and military technology, but not without a moral cost. Background and execution. Origins. As World War II drew to a close, American and Soviet forces raced to seize advanced German technology and recruit its masterminds. This marked the beginning of Operation Paperclip, an initiative by the Office of Strategic Services, which later became the CIA. Process. Over 600 German scientists, engineers, and technicians were secretly brought to the United States, including notable figures like Werner von Braun, a key figure in Nazi rocket technology and later the U.S. space program. Insider intelligence officers account. We knew we were walking a fine line. A former Office of Strategic Services member reflects. Bringing in individuals who had worked under the Nazi regime was a decision fraught with ethical implications. Yet, the Cold War pressures prioritized scientific gain over past affiliations. Contributions and controversies. Scientific achievements. The imported talent played a pivotal role in the Cold War's technology race. Their contributions were instrumental in developing the American space program, leading to milestones like the Apollo moon landings and advancements in ballistic missile technologies. Moral dilemma. However, this came at the cost of granting immunity to individuals who had been part of a regime responsible for heinous war crimes. Many of the scientists had been members of the Nazi Party, and some had used forced labor in their wartime research. Public revelation and reaction. Disclosure. The operation, initially shrouded in secrecy, came to light in the 1970s, causing public outrage and moral debate. The revelation that former Nazis had been covertly employed and given sanctuary in the U.S. sparked a national and international controversy. Legal and ethical consequences. This led to a reevaluation of government policies regarding war criminals and the ethical boundaries of scientific research. The U.S. government faced criticism both domestically and internationally for its actions. Operation Paperclip stands as a complex chapter in American history, embodying the paradoxes of moral choice in the face of technological and political rivalry. It raises enduring questions about the cost of progress and the ethical responsibilities of nations and individuals. The Manhattan Project and its consequences. Our exploration brings us to one of the most pivotal and contentious endeavors in human history, the Manhattan Project. This massive and secretive undertaking not only marked America's foray into the atomic age, but also set the stage for the nuclear era that would shape global politics for decades to come. The genesis and execution of the Manhattan Project. Inception. Triggered by fears that Nazi Germany was developing nuclear weapons, the Manhattan Project commenced in 1942, spearheaded by the United States with the support of the United Kingdom and Canada. Its objective was clear, yet daunting: to build an atomic bomb before the Axis powers. Scientific breakthroughs. Led by renowned physicist J. Robert Oppenheimer, the project brought together some of the world's brightest minds in physics, including figures like Enrico Fermi and Niels Bohr. They worked in utmost secrecy in remote locations like Los Alamos, New Mexico. Witness accounts and ethical debates. Scientists' perspective. A project scientist recalls, "We were driven by a sense of urgency and fear. But as we neared completion, the weight of what we were creating became apparent. We were not just making a bomb, we were unleashing a force that could redefine war and humanity." Ethical dilemmas. The use of the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945 sparked a profound ethical debate. While some argued it was necessary to end World War II, others viewed it as a moral transgression that caused unprecedented civilian suffering. The aftermath and long-term impacts, immediate consequences. The bombings led to Japan's surrender, effectively ending World War II. However, the devastation and loss of life in Hiroshima and Nagasaki were catastrophic, leaving scars that would never fully heal. Shaping international relations. The atomic age ushered in the Cold War, a period of geopolitical tension between the United States and the Soviet Union, marked by an arms race and the ever-present threat of nuclear annihilation. Nuclear proliferation and control efforts. The following decades saw efforts to control nuclear proliferation through treaties like the Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT. Yet, the spread of nuclear technology and the emergence of new nuclear states remained a persistent global concern. The Manhattan Project is a story of scientific triumph and existential dread. It reminds us of humanity's capacity for both unparalleled innovation and unimaginable destruction. As we stand in the shadow of the atomic age, the ethical and geopolitical lessons of the Manhattan Project continue to resonate in our quest for a safer, more stable world. We delve deeper into the hidden chapters of American history, we uncover the controversial and covert operation known as COINTELPRO. This FBI-led program represents a dark intersection of government surveillance and civil liberties, where the boundaries of legality and morality were often blurred. Origins and goals of COINTELPRO. Inception. COINTELPRO, short for Counterintelligence Program, was initiated in 1956 by the FBI under J. Edgar Hoover. Initially targeted at disrupting the activities of the Communist Party USA, it soon expanded its focus to a wide array of groups deemed subversive or radical. Scope and methods. Employing a variety of covert and often illegal tactics, COINTELPRO aimed to infiltrate, discredit, and disrupt political organizations. These tactics included extensive surveillance, planting false media stories, wrongful imprisonment, and in extreme cases, assassinations. Let's go into more detail about COINTELPRO activities. Surveillance. COINTELPRO extensively monitored the communications of suspected individuals and groups. This included wiretaps, reading mail, and even physical surveillance. Infiltration. The FBI frequently planted informants inside targeted organizations. These informants reported on the group's activities and sometimes even incited illegal actions to justify arrests and create internal discord. Disinformation. The program used propaganda to discredit and disrupt groups. This involves spreading false rumors, forging documents, and leaking misleading information to the media. Harassment and legal pressure. COINTELPRO often resorted to harassment, including wrongful arrests and the use of legal pressure to silence activists. They used aggressive interrogation techniques and trumped-up charges to intimidate activists. Psychological warfare. The program used psychological tactics to create distrust and fear among group members. This included sending anonymous letters designed to create conflicts between members and leaders. Targeting high-profile individuals. Key figures like Martin Luther King Jr. were specifically targeted with efforts to discredit them both personally and professionally. For instance, the FBI sent King anonymous letters threatening to expose his extramarital affairs and urged him to commit suicide. How COINTELPRO was uncovered. Burglary at Media, Pennsylvania. The existence of COINTELPRO came to light in 1971 when a group of activists, calling themselves the Citizens Commission to Investigate the FBI, broke into an FBI office in Media, Pennsylvania. Stolen documents. These activists stole several dossiers and started mailing these documents to newsrooms. The documents contained evidence of the FBI's covert operations against domestic political groups. Media exposure. Initially, many news outlets were hesitant to publish the information due to its sensitive nature. However, once a few began reporting on the findings, the story gained traction. Public outrage and investigation. The public revelation of COINTELPRO sparked widespread outrage and led to congressional investigations, most notably the Church Committee in 1975. End of COINTELPRO. The exposure and subsequent backlash against these revelations led to official termination of the program and prompted a series of reforms intended to increase oversight of U.S. intelligence activities. We want to take a pause here and ask our viewers a question. Do you think the COINTELPRO program was really terminated? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe, like, and share this video. It helps our channel grow so we can continue to create the content our viewers want. The internment of Japanese Americans. As we draw near the end of our journey into America's hidden truths for this video, we turn to a somber episode from World War II, the internment of Japanese Americans. This dark period serves as a profound reminder of the dangers of prejudice and fear overriding principles of justice and liberty. Background and implementation. Following the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, a wave of fear and suspicion swept across America against Japanese Americans. Fueled by war hysteria and racial prejudice, the U.S. government took drastic actions against its own citizens. Executive Order 9066. In February 1942, President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed Executive Order 9066, authorizing the forced relocation and internment of around 120,000 people of Japanese ancestry, most of whom were U.S. citizens. Life in the internment camps, conditions and experiences. Japanese Americans were uprooted from their homes and sent to internment camps in remote areas. They lived in cramped, primitive conditions, often in repurposed stables or hastily constructed barracks. Personal account. An internee recalls, "Our lives were turned upside down. We lost our homes, our businesses. Behind barbed wire, under the watchful eyes of armed guards, we struggled to maintain our dignity and community spirit." Legal and social implications. Constitutional violations. The internment raised significant legal questions about the violation of civil liberties and constitutional rights, including the right to due process and protection against unwarranted searches and seizures. Social impact. This period left a lasting scar on the Japanese American community. It was a stark reminder of how easily fear can lead to the erosion of civil liberties in times of crisis. Revelation, apology, and legacy. Redress movement. Decades later, the internment was widely recognized as a grave injustice. The Japanese American redress movement led to the Civil Liberties Act of 1988, which formally apologized and provided reparations to surviving internees. Continued relevance. The internment remains a critical lesson in American history about the perils of sacrificing civil liberties in the name of national security and the ongoing struggle to uphold the principles of justice and equality for all. As we conclude our exploration of America's hidden truths, we are reminded of the complex tapestry of events and decisions that have shaped the nation. From the Tuskegee syphilis study to Operation Paperclip, the Manhattan Project, COINTELPRO, and the internment of Japanese Americans, each story illuminates the multifaceted nature of history, often marred by injustice, yet also a testament to resilience and the pursuit of truth. These chapters, though dark, are crucial for us to acknowledge and understand. They remind us of the vigilance needed to safeguard our liberties and the continuous effort required to forge a more equitable society. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening journey into America's past. We would love to hear from you in the comments about what parts of history you would like to hear about. To discover more untold stories and uncover more hidden truths, remember to subscribe to Facts Intrigue channel.